All right, well, that's it from us today, guys. I don't even. People in the chat probably don't even want to listen to it, but they're going to listen to it anyway. But look, we've lost 2-0 to Newcastle. Carabao Cup, we're out. A lot of changes. You look at all the games around the Carabao Cup yesterday. No one played a strong team, did they? Really? We probably played one of the stronger teams.
Yeah, Liverpool was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that. Liverpool. It was almost as if they had like a game tomorrow. The way they played their Carabao Cup game against Palace.
If I'm a Liverpool fan, I hate what Slot did yesterday in the Carabao.
I don't know why. Why did he go so weak?
Yeah.
And not even put players on the bench?
It's madness to me. I think it's absolutely crazy.
Like, he just sacrificed it. Maybe he feels like they got too many games, but it's crazy. Like, why not leave an Ekitike or Gakpo or Szoboszlai, anyone on the bench, just to recover the situation if you need them? It's like he just thought, nah, we're going out of this. We don't want this.
Yeah, sometimes when you're feeling the pressure, you make some odd decisions. And it's very clear that Slot is feeling a lot of pressure right now. Because, they were favourites to win the league a few weeks ago.
And now it's what?
And now they're out of the conversation.
5 losses in 6.
Yeah.
5 losses in 6 in all competitions.
So, yeah, absolutely crazy. But on Spurs, when the lineup got announced, were you happy with it?
Look, I understood it. I don't know if I was happy with it, but I wasn't going to complain about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think I said before the game, is there any concern about how much football Van der Ven is playing? And clearly Frank felt there was, so he rested him. Look, and if there's any sort of concern that Van der Ven is playing too much football, I've got no problem taking him out the far line, even if it means we're losing tomorrow, yesterday, because I want him fit for the whole season. That's the main thing for me when it comes to Van der Ven. And that's so important. He's such a big part of our game. And we've got 2 other cup competitions and league to think about. The Carabao Cup, as much as I would love to win it, it is the least of our priorities. That is just a fact. It's the least of our priorities this season. So if there's any worry about Van der Ven taking him out the final line, Kudus has been looking tired the last couple of games. So I don't have a problem really taking him out. It's frustrating. And I think I said before the game, like, I don't mind the lineup, but did I believe that lineup was good enough to win? I wasn't sure, and it turned out it wasn't.
Yeah, I felt like it was, particularly when I looked at Newcastle's lineup as well. Like, I thought that lineup was good enough to win, and I actually saw a lot of things in the game where, Spurs don't make 2 massive screw-ups at the back. Then you never know. We could have qualified for the next round. That game hinged on 2 massive cock-ups at the back for Tottenham. That's what it hinged on. Because I think we created our chances, they created their chances. Yeah, maybe they had a few better chances than us, but we were still creating, and much better in terms of our play, our general play from open play than we have seen in recent weeks. So I thought that it was a fine margin to the game yesterday.
But before they scored, we weren't in the game.
No, but it's true. It's true because, like, I can sit here and say that, we looked a lot better from open play. But however, when it was 0-0, and the game state was drawing, it was all Newcastle.
It was only a matter of time before they scored.
So, like, did we only look like that because we were 1-0 down chasing the game? Or did we look like that is because that's what Thomas Frank wanted us to look like?
I think when you got these games, I think sometimes the game goes in moments. I've seen this actually a lot when he was at Brentford. A lot of the time down to the cost, then all of a sudden the game state changes and something changes within the game, and then all of a sudden they're on top for a bit, and they're never out of the game. And I think that's kind of yesterday. We were second best up until they scored, and then I think naturally when you're 1-0 up, I think you could see they were proper going for it in the first 25 minutes, Newcastle, and they're really, really intense. But I think that intensity naturally dropped off as the half was going on, and Tottenham were just allowed to get back in the game. I'm not saying it was Newcastle did anything wrong. I just think naturally, when you're that intense for 25 minutes, you get that goal. You obviously want to keep the foot on our necks, which they had for the first 25 minutes, but there might naturally be a bit of a drop-off, protect your lead, and then go again in the second half. That's kind of what they did. Luckily for them, they didn't concede, because we did have some moments in that last stage of the first half. But I think a lot of the time I think we improved. We were finding solutions out of their press, but I think they naturally just did drop off a bit. They weren't as intense as they were in the opening 25 minutes. So I think it's like a bit of both. I think you've got to give us a bit of credit because we were finding some little passing moves and we were creating some good chances as well. And we were quite unlucky probably not to have gotten a goal potential, albeit the only real chance we actually got a shot off was from a set piece again, which was Charleston headed it straight at Ramsdale. He's got to be burying that in the corner. We had a couple of moments, but one of them was just behind Richarlison, the other one was just in front of Richarlison when it came to some crosses from Brendan Johnson and Bergvall. But they were some good moves to get us in those positions. Xavi had a shot over the bar just at the end of the half. So I wouldn't say we were like creating loads of like gilt-edged chances, but we clearly were back in the game in that moment. And if we got a goal 1-1, I don't think Newcastle ever could have complained.
But that was fine margins though, wasn't it? Because like if Richarlison holds his run a little bit better, then you're probably saying Richarlison's got to score from that position. So I'm saying like the chances, the moments that you're saying that we created, they were really good moments because on another day, Richarlison holds his run a little bit, the ball's a tiny bit, like a few centimetres to the right. Like you're saying, those are proper gilt-edged chances, so it's like proper fine margins.
Yeah, that's what it was. And we just, whether you call it lacking quality to finish the move or just a bit unlucky, you can say it either way you want, but either way, we just weren't able to get it over the line.
Yeah, which is really frustrating because, like I said to you yesterday, I felt like out of the midweek games that we've been struggling, and that's what we've shown the most in that game than we have done in any of the Champions League games so far. So I came away from it like really disappointed and, you know, downbeat that we've gone out. But I take from it some positives, and I take from it saying that, you know, we're potentially going in the right direction here.
Yeah, I mean, it was only really a 20-minute spell, though, wasn't it? Not even, probably a 15-minute spell. So it's hard to make too many sweeping conclusions. But I think it was what I liked. If at half time, I was pretty content with how we were playing, and we ended the half really strongly, and I was happy. Second half was a bit different. Second half, we had maybe a 5-minute spell where we looked like we could score. Saar had that chance, and who else had a chance? Saar had one, and Rishi forced to save out Ramsdale. But apart from that, second half, Newcastle grabbed control of the game again, so it's not exactly like we were able to keep it up for too much longer.
Yeah, but we are away to Newcastle here. So like,
how much changed Newcastle?
Yeah, much changed Newcastle, fair enough. But still, like as you say, like you said it a number of times yesterday, like even with the lineup that Newcastle had, it's still St James's Park. It's still a really hard place to go. And no matter kind of who they're playing in against, you know, they're going to be a really tough team to beat and tough, and the way they set up and everything like that. And they're always so aggressive. So I feel like if we played like that or have those moments against kind of a different opposition, maybe we take something more out of the game. Potentially,
but again, we're talking about a little spell in the game. It was better, and I like the structure. I like what the structure gives us, what Frank has done. But we did deserve to lose. It's not like we
no, that's true.
It's not like we was unlucky. The result was unlucky. It was Newcastle the better team, especially in the last 20 minutes when they made all the subs. As soon as they brought their A team on, it was game over.
Yeah,
they shut us down, and it's like we couldn't get our own half. So yes, it was good for that moment in the end of the first half. But I can't sit here and say, based off that, it's all definitely. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I like the structure, and I do think it's been better in the last two games. So that's good. But I didn't come away from the game thinking that was a really good performance and we were unlucky. We lost and we deserved to lose.
Yeah. But, you know, we've been speaking a lot over the last week or two, like, you know, Frank has got to show you something that the game or our general play can improve.
Yeah, he did.
And he did show you something.
He showed. I think the structure's getting better, definitely, and I definitely think it's getting better, to be honest. So that's a real positive. But obviously, you want to see it for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, obviously, but you know, I guess it's just baby steps at this moment in time, and we need to back it up with a really strong performance against Chelsea, because what he hasn't shown so far is being able to perform at home, and this is a massive home game now against. Would you call it a struggling Chelsea side now? Are they a struggling Chelsea side?
Obviously, they did win yesterday.
Just about, yeah.
They did win. Is it a struggle? I think they're definitely struggling.
So it's a struggling Chelsea side.
Yeah, they're struggling with certain aspects, but it's still going to be a tough game. You know, they're probably going to.
It's always a tough game against Chelsea. Always.
But yeah, I wonder what kind of Tottenham we are going to see on Sunday. Are we going to see us really go for it and like some really attacking football, or is it going to be more similar to how we have been, which is just really solid and try and find something going forward without really focusing too much on it, kind of thing?
Yeah, if Romero was fit, I would be tempted to go for the 3-5-2 against Chelsea, because we know the way Chelsea are going to set up and play. They're going to come to attack. And I think if we were to play that 3-5-2, we could really pick them off. But I don't think...
they struggle against 5 at the back as well.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I've heard.
So I don't think... that's not going to be the case, because I don't think Romero is going to be fit. But I didn't like a lot of people saying, oh, I don't care about going out this competition. Like, I don't believe people when they say that. I think that was just pure copium, to be honest. Like, how can you not care Spurs going out of a competition and a realistic chance to win a trophy?
But if you care, then you should be unhappy that he's not playing Van de Ven or Kudus from the start, because those are massive players for us right now.
Yeah.
I think we were always unlikely to win if they didn't start, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair, but, you know, for these games, you do make changes sometimes, and like I say, Van de Ven needs the rest. Kudus in the last couple of games has looked like he's needed the rest as well. So maybe starting a Kudus might not have even impacted much. Van de Ven's probably a different story. Do we concede those 2 goals if Van de Ven's on the pitch? Who knows? But
I have to say, the more I think about it, I do think that the first goal we conceded, what can we really do about it in hindsight? Because I've watched it back. I actually think Spence is a bit at fault, though, because they timed his how long it took him to get his boot on, 45 seconds. So he was taking a long time to do it. So I think what happened was the ref kind of got fed up of waiting, and as soon as he got his boot on, like, back up. So, but if he took 10 seconds, he probably would have allowed him to get back in position, because he wasn't kind of taking the piss. So I think maybe his casual nature, getting that boot on, as much as we're analysing Spence doing his laces, I do think that maybe cost him a bit with the patience of the crowd and the referee in that moment. But from Tottenham's point of view, his boot was off. We had to wait for him to get his boot on, right? And what are we supposed to do? They've stopped the game to allow Spence to get his boot on, and they should at that point then let him get back in position.
How long are they supposed to wait?
What do you mean? How long are they supposed to wait?
You just said it took him 45 seconds
to get the boot on, but they've stopped the game. The game has stopped.
Yeah,
it's not live at this point. To wait for him to get his boot on. So from Tottenham's point of view, if they've stopped the game to wait for him to get his boot on, how can they be in position if he's not got his boot on? So they have to wait for him to get back into position at that point. So what are we supposed to do?
Well, I think what you said before was spot on. You know, he needs to deal with it quicker. Spence, just get your boot on, get back in position. Don't take your time and don't take the piss, and just get on with it. Don't wait around for 45 seconds getting your boot on and winding everyone up and forcing the ref to get the game going.
So you're pinning the blame on Spence?
Yeah, 100%. I'm putting the blame solely on us, and Spence is one of us. So I think we didn't deal with that situation well enough, and I think we reacted way too slow to the situation.
But what could the rest of the team have done apart from wait for Spence to get back in position?
Well, I guess you just got to always be ready, and I know you're a man down in the box, and it's not a good situation. But you know, Fabian Schär is completely free in the box.
Because Spence wasn't there.
Yeah, but surely someone else has got to pick him up.
Yeah, Spence.
No, someone else. When Spence isn't there.
How can someone else pick him up when he's Spence's man? Everyone's got a man, essentially.
But no, everyone didn't have a man because we were doing zonal marking, right? Not everyone had a man. We were marking a zone.
Yeah, but zonal marking means whoever comes into your zone, that's who you're marking.
Yeah, but there were Spurs defenders in that zone.
Yeah, who probably had other men to pick up.
Yeah, but if the ball's if you can see the ball's going to Schär, then you've got to do your best to stop it getting away. He was completely free, and there were men around him.
Because they might have been outnumbered.
Well, I don't know if that was the situation. I saw 2 men I can't remember which men it was. 2 men right next to Schär, and neither of them made an attempt. You've got to make an attempt at least.
Well, another part of it was Barnes pushed Bergvall, who pushed Danso, which meant that Danso wasn't able to really jump as maybe he might have been able to if that situation didn't happen. So that caused a bit of confusion as well. But I think obviously the main thing comes from Shah is free because Spencer's still getting back to position because he's still got his boot off, or he's just got his boot on, sorry, and the referee didn't allow him to get back in position to defend the corner. So I do think the referee, if you've waited that long, you might as well allow him to get back in position. I think that's only fair. Otherwise, we are defending with one less man, which is not really a fault of Tottenham. It's fault, I guess you can say it's Spencer's fault, but yeah, I don't know. I guess you can say it's Spencer's fault for being a bit too casual, putting his boot on, taking 45 seconds. It is a bit ridiculous. You should not. Why is it taking
totally
so long?
Ridiculous.
But I think it's common courtesy, usually in those situations.
We've got to learn, Tim, there's no such thing as common courtesy at St James's Park.
I'm just saying, 9 times out of 10, right, in that exact same situation in Premier League grounds up and down the country, the referee just allows him to get back in
I don't
position.
think I've ever seen that situation before.
What, playing with their boot off? You never seen that?
Not taking as long as Spence takes.
Okay,
to
maybe
put it
not,
back
but I'm
on.
just saying, most of the time, in those situations when the player's got his boot off, if the referee has stopped play, he then only restarts it once the player's ready to
I don't remember
restart.
ever seeing it from a corner where a corner is actually stopped because someone's putting their boot back on.
I've seen it.
I don't remember seeing one.
It happens plenty of times during the season.
Yeah, you might be right, but I just don't remember off the top of my head ever seeing one.
Yeah, it happens. That's what happens. The referee stops and he only allows it when the player's ready.
But a corner can be taken when a team's not ready, right?
But the referee has stopped play.
But the game has stopped play before a corner's taken anyway.
No, but referee literally said hold the corner because he's putting his boot on. You know, so if he stopped
but
himself,
once the boot's on, then why can't the ref just carry on play?
he can. But I'm just saying, usually they wait for the player who's just put his boot on to be ready.
What
to
I'm saying
start
is,
again.
what's the difference between that and the team just taking a short corner when everyone's out of position, or a quick corner when everyone's out of position?
Because the referee actively stopped play.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's why.
But also, if a corner's being taken and everyone's out of position, the play's going, right? So it doesn't really make it. It's the same situation.
I understand. If you're saying them taking a quick corner is the
When
same
nobody's ready.
when nobody's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not. So they're not waiting for us to get back in position and in
I
position
understand
to defend a corner.
I understand that.
So the ref has stopped play for Spence to put his boot on, right? The ref has said as soon as Spencer's put his boot on, he's waved play on, right? So what's the difference between that and taking a short corner? At that moment, when the ref has waved play on, it's based on taking a quick
difference
corner.
is that he stopped play for Spence to put his boot on. So
And he's put it on.
There's an unfair advantage.
But he's put it on, and Spence is in the corner.
But how can he get ready?
How did
if
the
he's
ref
just-
not know that Spence just wanted to stand in the corner waiting for the short corner? Like, how did he know?
Because he was moving back. You could see him dropping
Very
back
slowly.
into position. Yeah, I agree. And his casual nature probably cost him. But I'm saying the referee should have, in my opinion, allowed him to get back in position at that point. Because you've stopped play, right? So you can't then just continue it and let until he's ready because he clearly had his boot off. Wasn't wasting time.
I think if the situation is the other way around, like we're saying, look, you've got to be ready, and that's it.
It's a clever piece of play from Newcastle. I don't take any. It's not their fault. I think it's the referee's fault. I'm not saying Newcastle did anything wrong. The referee waved play on, and they scored from it. They took advantage of the situation. And if it's from us, I'd be delighted that we took advantage of that situation. So fair play to Newcastle. I just think the referee should have allowed Spence to get back in position because that's fair, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Happened.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the second goal, though, man, what a joke.
Also,
what a joke that was.
Saved that first goal.
Well, a lot of people saying if Vicario's in goal, that's not a goal.
I mean, it did seem to go through him a bit.
Yeah.
Again, it's a header from a corner. It's difficult to save, but I think he gets a touch on it, doesn't he? And it allows it to,
It's like point blank range as well. Like,
yeah, it's not easy, but again, does a top keeper save it? Maybe. Second one, though, for sure. I mean, it's so poor. Frank himself said Kinski should never have come out. He said he should have stayed on his line.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have been very difficult for Voltmaker to have scored that if Kinski was on his line.
Yeah, it's just an absolute fuck up from Kinski, the
nowhere
second
near
goal.
it.
Nowhere near. Like,
And you're the keeper. I don't understand Voltmaker is bloody tall. I get that. But you can use your hands and you can jump. So there's no situation where a keeper should be heading it, should be beating you in the air. That should never happen
yeah.
at this level. Never.
Yeah, I mean, you're a big advocate not advocate, but your prediction was that Kinski will be our number one come the end of the season or come... well, you said quite early on in the season.
I have to say, his ball-playing ability was brilliant.
It was brilliant, but...
Really, it was so much better than Vicario. But yeah, he's clearly got a lot of work to do.
You've got to do a lot more than ball-playing ability.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of work to do.
If I offered you Kinski's ball-playing ability or Vicario's shot-stopping, I'm taking Vicario's shot-stopping every day.
Yeah. Especially what he showed in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
I think Vicario has been brilliant, albeit before that he was making a few mistakes. But yeah, I think Kinski isn't going to be the number one anytime soon, I think.
Yeah. So look, that Spurs out of the Carabao Cup, 2-0 to Newcastle. It is what it is at the end of the day. Some positives, some negatives, but we just got to dust ourselves off, move on. Big few games coming up. Chelsea at home, followed by a Champions League game against Copenhagen. Manchester United at home, who are, on really good form at this moment in time. And then it's the international break, isn't it? And then it don't stop there because we've got the North London derby creeping up right after that.
We knew this difficult games was coming up, didn't we?
Mad run of games now.
Is that our first loss away from home?
Yeah, I guess PSG's not an away game, was it? It's a cup final.
Yeah.
So yeah, first loss away from home under Frank.
Shame. It was probably going to come at some point.
Yeah.
We're never going to go the whole season unbeaten, were we? But then again, we are still unbeaten.
We got to go back to St James's Park in about a month's time or something.
Yeah, and they're going to have their strongest team out that time.
And so will we.
So will we.
Maybe even Decky will be back by then. Probably not, but you never know.
Could always hope. But yeah, I think I just hope we continue trying to get Xavi and Bergvall closer together, because I think that is going to be the way forward to solving that central area. Because I think we were playing through the middle a lot more yesterday than we weren't just relying on the right hand side. I guess we couldn't because of Brennan, but I think we were. I think the threats were coming off the right and through the centre, just wasn't really coming from the left.
Yeah, and I think Xavi, from a starting point, whenever he started a game, probably his best display in the Spurs. I know it wasn't a world-beating display, but I guess it's steps forward.
Yeah, and I think it helps when he's closer together with Bergvall or Kudus. It was the other day, or I think it helps him having players around him. He's not so isolated. He can play off at players and wriggle away from situations more. He kind of looked a bit better usually he looks better from the left-hand side cutting in, but he did quite good from the right as well. So that was quite positive. So, I like that dynamic. I just want to see more of that. But I don't know how we solve maybe the left-hand side for now, because at the moment, in this build-up, if a doggy's injured and we're relying on Spence to provide the width, I don't know if I see much coming from that side.
Can we not try Tell on the left?
Can we try Tell on the left? But the thing is, in this build-up, we're playing like an inside. Yeah, we could. But we're playing him like an inside number 10 position. And I'm saying playing Tell isn't going to stop Spence from holding the width at the moment. Unless we change it where it's Spence in the back three and Porro holding the width down the right.
I wouldn't mind that. And maybe getting Kudus more centrally on the right-hand side.
And then who would play on the left? Who would hold the width of the left? Like say Odebear or Tell.
Yeah.
On the left. And then you have like Odebear, still have Bergvall or Xavi, Kudus and Porro.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I think that...
With Moani up top.
I think it makes more sense. And as well, Spence is better defensively. So you've got... Defensively, we're probably going to be less of a liability. And then going forward, the only problem is, because Spence has so much energy, he can go forward and then you're not worried about him getting back in position. Whereas maybe with Porro you are a bit more. But
the only thing is because when Porro plays the deepest, he helps with the build-up.
And that's also another
playing ability. Spence doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's also another thing. Like he's got that ability to play long-range passes as well. So that's also something to think about. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind giving it a trial. I think maybe it'll work better if we got Romero.
Yeah, 100%. We need Romero back. 100%. We need Romero back to do that kind of thing, because you just can't give up Pedro Porro's ball playing ability at the back.
Yeah,
we need
right
it.
now. Yeah, it's true.
So anyway, that is the match review. Let us know your thoughts on the game in the comments section below. We're going to move on to player ratings. Newcastle